Have you in trading ever felt like standing at the cliff, only one step away from falling down? If you have done so, don't worry, every one of us has felt like that so far, so there's nothing to worry about, but now it's the time to decide whether to be one of the 95% of all traders that fail or give up, or to be one of the 5% that want to learn how to do it right and become a profitable trader. And one of the key factors for this is the risk management. It decides whether you fall down or you don't. So don't take it wrong, of course, losses in trading are normal, we all do it. So you have to accept losses as well, but that's nothing to worry about if you know how to do a risk management properly. And that's of course what this video is all about, to teach you everything you need to know about risk management. So at the end of this video, you will know exactly what risk management is and how to use it for your trading. Plus at the end, I will share an extra with you, a shortcut if you don't want to calculate it yourself every time. So that is really the simple way. But first, now let's start and understand the basics. And the first step is quite personal because we are talking about the personal risk tolerance. So what does that really mean? For example, we have a trade here, the market is coming down and we want to trade long because we see a trend reversal here. So we need a stop loss. I would always recommend to use a stop loss. It's really essential because a stop loss is the only factor that keeps your potential losses limited. If you work without a stop loss, your losses are unlimited. And that means you drop out of the trade not before it gets the most uncomfortable you can imagine. And this will ruin your total account. So please, guys, don't be one of those 95% that either give up or blow up their accounts. Please be wise and definitely use a stop loss. I would never recommend to trade without it. So first thing, always use a stop loss. And now we get to point number second. So down here, this will be our stop loss, and up here our entry line. And between those two lines, it is our risk, or the money we risk per trade. And this is defined by two factors. And the first one is, of course, the pip size. How many pips we are risking with this trade. And second is our position size. I will explain that more in detail later on. And those two combined make the amount of money that we risk with this trade. And they are determined by your personal risk tolerance. So it means exactly how much money you are willing to risk per trade, what you personally feel comfortable with. There's always a different feeling for each person, for each trader. You have to find out your own risk tolerance. If you have done so, you know exactly which is your limit. You should never go beyond your own risk tolerance. You should always keep it at the same level or lower. This is the secret of being long-term successful. This will keep you away from getting desperate because you just keep on losing. Of course, like I said, every trader has to deal with losses. There's no way around. There's no professional trader that is not losing money. This is part of the game, but of course, we need to limit those losses in order to trade profitable long term. In this case, our pip size, we have to calculate from 0.8962.8 to 8877.6. So this makes 962.8 minus 877.6, and this equals a risk of 85.2 pips. So this is fact number 1, and then we need to find out our position size. And for this, there is a simple equation. For example, if your account size is $10,000, then the personal risk tolerance is possible in percentage or in an absolute amount, and I prefer the percentage one. So I would always recommend to have a risk between 1 and 3%, but I've seen traders doing 5% as well. Like I said, it depends on your personal risk tolerance. My personal risk tolerance is between 1 and 3%. So in this case of $10,000, I always risk between $100 and $300. That's the amount here that I want to risk. And I always stay in between this because, like I said, if you leave your personal risk tolerance, then you get emotionally and then you do mistakes, and this definitely ruins your trading and you end up being one of the 95% that lose and give up. So for example, we want to risk $100 per trade because this is easy to trade, and we have this risk tolerance of our $100, and we want to take a trade where we place our stop loss that is 50 pips from our entry point. So these 50 pips are our risks. Now we have to calculate our position size from those two factors. And this is pretty easy. We divide our $100 by 50 pips, and then we know that we have $2 per pip that we are moving per pip. For that, there's a simple table that we use now. So here I've displayed now the basics that you need to know. I will explain now. So this is the position size in units, so how many units you actually trade, and this is how many dollars per pip you are moving. So we have different position size. It's the micro, the mini, or the standard lot. And with the micro, for example, you are moving 1,000 units, and this means you are moving per pip 10 cents. With the mini, it's a little size bigger, then you are already moving 10,000 units and $1 per pip. With the standard lot, it's a lot that you are moving 100,000 units with, and this equals $10 per pip. Of course, you can choose how many of those you are trading. You can, for example, use 4 micro lots, then you are moving 40 cents per pip. Or you can, for example, use 2 mini lots, then you are moving $2 per pip. You can just use it how you need it for your own risk tolerance. So this brings us back to our example. We are placing a trade with $100 of risk. We have a stop loss 50 pips away, so we're moving $2 per pip. So in this case, it would be the 2 mini lots that we are using, because then with 2 mini lots, we would be moving the $2 per pip. But we can do another example to make it clear for you. For example, we want still the $100 that we are risking, because this is our personal risk tolerance, and our stop loss is, for example, in this case, 30 pips away. So we calculate again 100 divided by 30, and this equals exactly 3.3. But in this case, we will just round it down. If you have, for example, 3.8, you can of course round it up. But in this case, I would round it down. And then we have $3 per pip. And then we could, for example, use 3 mini lots. Of course, it's open to you. You could also use 30 micro lots, but it just depends what makes more sense. So in this case, I would recommend to do the 3 mini lots, but what's definite is that you are moving 30,000 units. So you see, if you have understood and you know the 3 important facts, your own risk tolerance, so how much money you personally want to risk, then you know your stop loss, and then from from that you can calculate your position size. This is what you need to do for your own risk management. So you see, try it yourself, calculate it a few times, and you will see how easy it is. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it seems like many numbers, but you will find out it is not that hard to do it. As promised earlier, of course, there is a calculator that you can use. Go to babypips.com, for example, and use the position size calculator here, where you can exactly type in what you got, and it will calculate how many mini lots, micro lots, standard lots, which the calculator would recommend you to use. You can, of course, Google any risk calculator for Forex. There are different ones out there and they all work fine. So this is my recommendation. If you don't want to calculate it yourself, use a calculator, but I personally prefer to calculate it myself, so I always know what's going on. That's it for this video. I hope you exactly know how to calculate your own risk now, so you stay away from all those 95% blowing up their accounts, and you become now a professional and, of course, successful trader. And if you want to learn more from me and trade with me, then check out the link below this video, and there you'll find all information how to trade with me and learn from me. So that's it, and I will see you next week with the next video. Bye bye.